All right, I'm going to go through a demonstration of a few variations of Peacock pose or Mayurasana. This is an arm balance, bent arms. In calisthenics, this would be seen as a variation of an elbow lever. And basically what you're trying to do is bring the full length of your body to balance on the upper arms with your hands down on the floor. And I'll show you a couple ways to make this easier and a couple different entries that I use in my vinyasa classes. So coming into this for the first entry here. Now this is unusual arm balance, keep in mind. So you're gonna be balanced on your hands, but rather than like crow where your fingertips are forward, you wanna try to rotate in. So at least bring your fingertips to the side, 90 degrees. If you can, go ahead and rotate your fingers all the way back in toward you. This is definitely gonna be a wrist stretch. And if you're not used to this kind of thing, it's gonna be a big deal. If you need to back off, just rotate to the side, but we'll try to work to the point where we can actually handle the wrist stretch. It may take some time. But coming to this, I'm going to bring my legs in a position like I'm coming to child's pose. So my big toes are together behind me, my knees are wide. I'm going to bring my hands down on the line that I can draw between my knees. Now there's a couple ways to do this, keep in mind. So you can have the hands close or you can have the hands wide. What you need to do, depending basically on your own dimensions of the torso in relation to the length of your arms, you may have to set the hands wide and then pull the elbows in towards center because you need to get the upper arms underneath you. Or you may bring the hands in at center, bring your chest forward, and that way the elbows have to stay underneath you. But you got to get the elbows underneath your torso, keep in mind. Because if you do this and the elbows are going out to the sides, there's nothing to stop your belly from coming down to the floor. And people kind of belly flop down all the time. It's not the end of the world. If you do it, don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt too much. Not likely anyway. So coming into this again. So big toes to touch, knees wide. I'm going to set my hands down with the fingers rotated back. And then from here, I usually set my hands wide and bend the elbows towards center. So pull your chest forward and then draw the elbows in. So the elbows are pressing against your rib cage, maybe against the muscles of your core. There's no ideal place. This depends on how long your torso is in relation to your arms. Look forward, extend forward, keep looking forward, and then start to lean into the arms. Now from this position, as I lean, I'm going to let my feet go wider, so I'm sinking down, and then bring more weight forward. As the shoulders come forward, my legs get light. Keep looking forward, keep pulling your chest forward. And then as you lean, it lifts the knees. Now this is easiest to hold because the knees are bent and the feet are close. If you want to go further, maybe straddle this with the legs to the side. And if you bring the legs together, you're going to have to shift more weight forward and keep your core engaged. And that brings you into the pose. So then I'll come back down, and just keep in mind, you're always kind of shifting weight so you're not just jamming your face into the floor. And you can balance this toward horizontal, or I know I was a bit more upright when I was more extended, but you got to feel out where the weight's going to go when you come into this. Hope that helps. All right, I'm going to show you one more entry to Peacock here, and this is more direct. Some people find this much easier. Some people find it impossible. So what works for you? I don't know. You're going to have to give things a try and see what works, what doesn't, and maybe figure out why. And you may have to just kind of mess around with this a little bit. Depends on your dimensions. So this one's going to be from plank rather than from the position I took before from the floor. So my feet are back. And I'm going to bring this in a little bit. I usually find it useful to drag the hands back closer than I would usually have for plank. And you need to arrange your hands. So you're going to rotate the fingers to the side, maybe rotate all the way back. So I'm going to rotate my fingers, set the palms, and then from here, pull my chest forward between the upper arms, squeeze the elbows in, and set myself down on the shelf of the arms. Now, if you're going to do this with the legs straight, this is the ideal position. Look forward, lean. You can lift your feet, and you can just hold it here. Now, if you come to this and you can't quite hold that position, there's a couple things you can do. You can just bring the feet out wide to back off, and this is more of a straddle. You don't have to shift quite so much weight to forward to balance. And if you need to back off further, you can bring the knees down, bring the feet together, lean forward, look forward, and lift the feet. And you can hold your balance like that, and then bring it back down. There is another common variation that you see where people bring their legs into lotus first. That does make it easier to balance because you don't have to mess around with the legs at all because they're just locked together, and then all the action is just in the upper body. I'm not going to demonstrate that because lotus is not a very good pose for me. It goes into my knees a little bit too much, but I will just let you know that's a possibility. Hope this helps.